rapid access to comprehensive oncology data and survival analysis. This is the OncoToolkit.
Music starts, sharp and professional. In your clinic, time is everything, right? You've got to go from broad population-level data to a specific risk profile for your patient, and you need that answer now. Well, here it is, an instant, evidence-based way to quantify DCIS recurrence risk. So let's talk about the big challenge with DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ. After breast-conserving surgery, the million-dollar question is always, who can safely skip adjuvant radiation? We have to do better than just guesstimates. We need precise, personalized predictions. And that's exactly what the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center DCIS Nomogram was built for. It's designed to predict the 5- and 10-year risk of that ipsilateral breast tumor recurrence for patients who've had surgery alone. This isn't just a number. It's the hard data you need to have a real, informed, shared decision-making conversation with your patient about whether radiation is truly necessary.
Okay, before we even touch the software, let's get into the science. Because if you're going to trust the output, you have to understand the model behind it.
So how does this thing work? Well, the nomogram crunches the numbers using a multivariable model that looks at these 7 key variables. Think of it as your checklist. You'll need the patient's age, any first-degree family history, how the DCIS was detected, margin status, nuclear grade, the presence of necrosis, and finally, the number of excisions. It's all right there in the path report.
And what's really powerful here is that the data behind this model points to some clear, high-impact risk factors. I mean, these are the red flags. You can see them here. An age under 40, positive or close margins, high grade or necrosis, even presenting with symptoms. Each one of these, on its own, signals a more aggressive biology and really pushes that risk needle up.
All right, so once the calculation is done, the output gives you one of 3 clear clinical tiers. Let's start with low risk. This is defined as a recurrence risk of less than 5%. And you know what that means? This is the group where you can really start having that serious conversation about omitting radiation. Next up, we have the intermediate risk tier, which is anywhere from 6 to 10%. Now, this is often that clinical gray area, right? It's the most nuanced group, and frankly, it's where a tool like this nomogram becomes absolutely crucial for weighing the pros and cons. And finally, we have the high-risk category. This is for any patient with a calculated recurrence risk that's over 11%. Pretty straightforward. Now, where does all this come from? The credibility here is rock solid. This whole tool is grounded in the foundational work of Dr. Kimberly J. Van Zee and her team at Memorial Sloan Kettering. We're talking about an analysis of almost 2,000 patients, all published in a landmark paper in the Journal of Clinical Oncology.
Okay, so we've got the science down. Now for the fun part. Let's see how the OncoToolkit app takes all that incredible evidence-based work and automates it in what we call the Anti-Blackbox workflow.
Step 1, just plug in the data. You can see right here how clean and fast the interface is. You're just grabbing those 7 variables we talked about, boom, 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 straight from the path report. It literally takes seconds. And then, step 2, you get your result. Instantly, no waiting. In this example, the patient lands squarely in that intermediate risk category. And just like that, you have a concrete, individualized data point to anchor that critical conversation about radiation versus the risk of overtreatment.
But here's the most important part. Step 3, you review the logic. Look, we don't believe in black boxes. The math and the reference tables are right here for your review. You can see the formula logic dropdown right there. Total transparency. You can see exactly how that score was calculated, so you can trust it.
But wait, this tool's power doesn't stop with just one patient. Not even close. It's designed to scale, transforming your clinical work into a powerful engine for your next research study.
Think about it. Every single calculation you run can be saved. So, over time, without any extra work, you're not just making clinical decisions, you're systematically building this beautiful, structured, research-ready dataset. And you can export the whole thing to a CSV file whenever you want.
And this creates what we call a full-circle research workflow, all inside the OncoToolkit ecosystem. You calculate and save scores right in the clinic, you export that clean data, and then you're ready to run some really sophisticated survival analyses to get those publication-ready insights. And we make that next step ridiculously easy. Your exported CSV goes into our CSV polisher. It handles all the messy stuff like missing values and gets it ready for analysis. Then you just feed that polished data into the survival analysis app.
It completely automates the heavy lifting, your chi-square, your Kaplan-Meier curves, your hazard ratios, turning what could be months of work into literally a few minutes.
So what you have here is a workflow that perfectly bridges the gap between caring for an individual patient and making a population-level discovery. You get immediate clinical value and a direct, streamlined path to high-impact research. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. How could this kind of transparent, automated risk assessment completely accelerate your next clinical study?